Sweet. Hello, everyone. Hello. I'm Tracy Mooney, and I'm from So Supportive, and I stream live every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern, and yeah, that's pretty much it. We are currently, some of us are sewing the village quilt, which now is a free pattern from Moda. There's a link below um, in the description, and some people just join along and chat, and others sew on other projects. But we're here to have a whole lot of fun. Okay, cool. I am just getting set up, and so if you're joining, please say hello, drop a comment, and let me know that you're here. And also, if you were watching on the restream, feel free to comment, because I always respond to the comments, and I am happy to respond to any questions and, join along in any fun comments and all of that. So there you go. And I hope that this is working. Please let me know that this is working. I've been having some technical difficulties this morning with the program that I use for streaming. And, oh, you know what? And I realized a problem right away, that I'm not seeing all of the chat. There we go. Okay, cool. So, I think that I should probably start by explaining why I didn't have a live last week. And it's been an extremely difficult actually few weeks. My mother-in-law had a fall on Mother's Day. I had just gotten back from F&F, and I had just gotten over a little bit of a cold. Good morning, Mary. I'm so glad that you're here. Good, perfect. I don't think I'm going to be able to have the overhead cam because that was not working for me. So, and hello, Katie. Good morning. Oh, good. Sew and lurk away. That's perfect. And thank you both for commenting. So I was starting to explain where I've been. So my mother-in-law had a fall on Mother's Day. She went to the hospital, but she was released. Luckily, she didn't break any bones or anything like that. I had just gotten back from the Fiber and Fabric Festival, whatever it's called, in Chicago. I had a cold, and I think I was live that week before Mother's Day. Yes, because it was right after my birthday, and I was feeling better, and so I was, I was fine, and but then my husband got sick. So mother-in-law, we cook for mother-in-law. And she starts to have some symptoms that week of having a cold, except that her symptoms are different. And she's just really super tired, doesn't want to eat, and that kind of thing. So she ends up going to the hospital because my father-in-law believed that she needed fluids. They get there, she's diagnosed with pneumonia. So I thought, oh great, I got her sick and she's got pneumonia. But it turned out that she had been in the hospital right before Christmas. She's got a swallowing disorder. And they think that she had aspirated some food or drink, and that caused the pneumonia. As they did further testing, they found out that she was going into heart failure. She had fluid around her heart, and in addition to the pneumonia. And in addition to that, she was having kidney failure. So by Wednesday of last week, we were informed that she would be going into hospice. So it was so that happened on Wednesday, and Thursday morning came, and if any of you saw that I had scheduled a live, I did. I had like high hopes of going live and sort of getting all the energy from you guys and just having a little bit of an escape. And I, right before the live, started to cry, and I knew I wasn't going to be able to get through a live and be, pleasant and uplifting and all of that. So, so, uh, so canceled. We basically all spent as much time as possible with my mother-in-law in the hospital. On, I want to say Friday, but I think it may have been Saturday. She was transferred into a unit that they call comfort care at the hospital, which is kind of their hospice wing and palliative care wing, which was a little bit quieter. She was taken off of all of the wires and things, so that she could just be comfortable. And on Monday, I spent the entire day with her so that my family could go spend time with our cousins that live here, and held her hand and just loved on her. And she went to an outside hospice facility Monday night. She promptly complained that the walls were gray, and why would they put gray on the walls? And I said it was trendy, and she was like, why? She's like, it's so gloomy. And so we promised her that we were going to get some things to cheer up the room. She got her first dose of pain medication, which we found out the next day was a quarter of the dose that she was getting in the hospital, because they like to do things sort of conservatively and figure out like where things need to be. And she promptly fell asleep, and she really didn't wake up again. By Tuesday night, things were kind of going downhill. I came home to rest for a bit, and I thought, I don't know, just had a feeling that things weren't looking so good. And I sent a text to my daughter and said, how are things? And she said, the nurse said that she doesn't think it'll be only a few more hours. So I grabbed a lift and went over to the facility, which luckily wasn't very far from our house, and we stayed with her until 1:30 in the morning. She had gotten another dose of her medication. Her breathing became really labored. My husband was a mess, and my father-in-law and my brother-in-law went home to get some rest, and my daughter decided to tell my husband that he needed to go, that he didn't need to witness this. She would stay and hold my mother-in-law's hand, and she did. And at 5:30 in the morning, we got the call that she had passed. So that was yesterday. And so we spent the majority of the day with my father-in-law and trying to comfort him and figure out what we needed to do, and do all the things that we could as a family. We had dinner together. We decided that my daughter, in her feat of valor, could have whatever she wanted. She wanted to go out for ice cream, so we did. And so that's pretty much it. So she passed away yesterday. So I decided that I was going to come on here today, and I don't want to be a complete downer. And I want to send out a message to all of my Patreon community who were amazing. They knew what was happening. I sent them a message to tell them that I just wasn't sure what was happening and wasn't sure when I'd be back. But now I feel like, okay, we've, sort of completed this hurdle, and I can get back to sewing and hanging out with you guys. And so that's where we are. So I'm going to do some sewing. I'm going to figure out where I left off 2 weeks ago with this, which I'm pretty sure I need Sky. And so I'm going to figure out what I've got in my little bin of goodies. And again, I apologize for the overhead camera. I'm not sure it's going to work. I could try, but I'm not sure it's going to work. And so I'm going to read some comments. Okay, so Mary said hello to everyone. Katie said good morning. She'll be sewing and lurking. Hello, Kim. Welcome, welcome. Katie says, oh geez, you've had a tough few weeks. I'm so sorry. I had to stop lurking to send a virtual hug. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Mary, thank you so much for your words. I appreciate all of you sending messages and all of that. It is what it is. It's part of life. when my sister passed away, I was very much in, the grief, and so I honestly feel like it helped me to help my husband and my father-in-law, my brother-in-law through this, and view it from a different perspective, being able to more fully take in what the hospice nurses were telling us, and it helped me to reconcile what had happened with my sister and understand it a little more, and I don't know, respect the nurses. I just have so much respect for hospice nurses. It's incredible. Like, they are just queens, like, well, and kings. They're just so special. And I have a funny quilt thing. So when my daughter decided that they were going to stay, we wanted to set them up with sort of a comfortable area. And so there was like a chair that converted into like a cot. And my husband went out to go get some more pillows and blankets, and they handed him a quilt. And I thought it was so sweet. It was a very patriotic quilt. Definitely not my daughter's style, but it was just so beautiful, and she appreciated it because she knew that it was, someone had handmade it, so it was lovely. And hello, Danelle, welcome. And so I thought that was really sweet. I honestly was thinking last night that I feel like I've got some projects coming up this year that I know won't necessarily need to be like kept. And so in some of those places, I'm thinking, why don't I just make a quilt and finish it and donate it to, the place is called Beacon Place. And so I think I might do that, just because I can, I have the ability and might as well create some comfort if I can. Let's see, Linda Grimm says, hospice workers are certainly angels on earth. They totally are. And actually one of our nurses was named Angel, and I thought, how appropriate. How appropriate. They are just the kindest people. And I couldn't get over my daughter, who is generally very shy and doesn't like to interact with strangers very much, went out of her way to like go and talk to the nurses and say, this is what's happening right now. She's having very labored breathing, like some of the breaths are a minute or more apart. Like, where are we? And, she's like, I'm generally interested, so if you could please help me understand what's happening. And so they told her what was happening and then gave her a little booklet. And she said the booklet was beautiful. It had all of the explanation of like the stages, had poems in it. And so I haven't even had a chance to look at it, but she said it was just beautiful. So, yeah, so here we are. So I feel like life has changed completely because we've been caring for my mother-in-law for a few years, and that's the reason why we moved here, was to be closer to them. And I have a beautiful picture of my mother-in-law where she hasn't usually smiled, but on her birthday, which was in April, we got a picture of her with a big smile with her flowers in front of her and her cake in front of her, and I love it. I just love it. She also, we had a very complicated relationship, and sorry that this is so not like sewing, but we had a kind of a complicated relationship, and partially because I think I've said this before, my mother and I are estranged, and she's has very narcissistic tendencies and has caused a lot of problems in my family's life, and she really didn't like my mother-in-law, and so that caused problems. And when they started butting heads, my mother-in-law thought that I was very much like my mother and didn't get to know me any further. And when we moved here 3 years ago, I think she started apologizing every single week for not giving me a chance. And over the past week, she has just told me how much she loves me, told all the nurses that I'm the best daughter-in-law in the world, that I am like her. She always wanted a daughter, and she got the best one. And then the day before she passed away, she gave me her favorite ring. She wore it all the time, and she had it on her hand, and she took it off. She said, "I want to give this to you. I'm not wearing it because I need to get it sized for my finger, and I don't want to lose it." But she was like, "It goes with everything." I loved that. I loved that so much, because she was very much a woman who, up until the end, like, her hair looked fabulous all week until the last day when they gave her a sponge bath and they did something to her hair and pulled it back. It looked terrible, but up until that moment, her hair was perfect. She was very much of that generation of going for a hairstyle on Friday every single week and getting enough hairspray that it would stay looking good until the next week. And so that was very much her. And so anyway, all right, so let's see. Oh, Kim, thank you for saying that. I'm very chatty here, and so I talk about what's happening with my life. I'm gonna grab a tissue real quick. And I talk about the struggles because not everyone who's a quilter has perfect life and can, make a quilt a week and do all that stuff. So, yeah, so this is very real for me. After my sister passed away in 2017, I don't think I sewed for, I don't even know how long. I don't even know how long. The only sewing I did for a few years after that was for work, and it was things that I had to do. I didn't do anything for joy. I didn't do it until probably 2020, and I had to like snap out of it, In 2020, my neighbor had a baby, and I wanted to make a quilt because they were really good friends of ours, and so I made a quilt, and it was like the worst quilt I've ever made. And I recently found out that the little girl still sleeps with it every night, and I think she's almost 6 now, right? So, because I'm like, all right, it was 2020. So, unless she was born in 2021. But anyway, she's around around the 5 age now. And so, and she still sleeps with it. So, quilts really, they bring people joy. You put your heart in it. And people, who can feel it. And so I love that. Thank you, Danelle. And also sending great big hugs to you and all in need. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for listening, really. I have some yerba mate this morning because I'm really feeling a little foggy today. Last night was the first night that I've slept in about a week. Because we're sleeping so little, just enough to get by until we could like wake up early, try and do a little work, go to the hospital, or sometimes we would have to stop. Ouch, sorry that I banged. Go to the hospital and not, and bring our laptops because we had to go to talk to someone about something. So for anyone who might be experiencing this right now as well, I'm sending out all of my love to you, and just know how hard it can be. So all right, so let me see if I've got some sky available, because if you remember during the last one, I created a whole stack of let's see if they'll fall. I'm gonna go like that. Okay, so created a whole stack of little houses to put together. We picked out doors and what are those called? Transoms and roofs and all of that. And some of them do have flying geese with the background fabric, but most of them do not. So I need to figure out if I've got enough or if I need to cut more. We'll see how I'm cutting today. Thank you, Danelle. You're so sweet. I still need to watch your video for the beginner series that we're working on together. And so I've got that in my queue that I can watch, and hopefully tonight I'll get to that. And if any of you are out there, Danelle and I'm not sure if anyone else in this group is part of it. I don't think so. That's chatting today at least. But Danelle and I, my friend Amy Dement, she's the one who actually invited me to the group. We're working on a quilting 101 back to basics, and I've got 2 videos done so far for that. I think I've got one more due in the next month, and so we're just doing little short beginner videos to sort of teach different blocks and things like that. So so give Danelle a chance and go watch her videos for that, and you can find mine as well. I've done let me think, and they're actually like right over there. I did a disappearing 4-patch so far, and I did a chain block, like a Irish chain block. They're all 10.5 inches, so it was a really tricky size to figure out like what blocks will actually work. You can't do any sort of like 9-patch type 3-patch blocks or anything like that because of the weird math involved in trying to get to 10.5 inches. So so that has been fun. I've got a disappearing hourglass coming up, and I forget what the last one I'm going to do is. I've already picked out all the blocks that I did. So they're all, on a spreadsheet that we've got that explains what we're all doing. So I kind of think the next one will probably be the disappearing hourglass. I've got a bunch of hourglass blocks that are in my UFO pile, and I did them with 10-inch squares, so they're kind of big, and I think I want to do something with them to make it a little more jazzy. I did black and like a bright, they're all solids, and I think they just need a little something something. So that's the plan. Danelle said that was so much fun picking out all together. You guys loved doing that. We'll do that again sometime, because I've got lots of fun charm squares, and so it's super fun to sort of pick out all of these bright colors and see what we're gonna do. All right, I don't think I've got any sky left, and so I think I'm going to have to dig into my 10-inch squares. But you know what? I think I'll just work. I think before I do that, I think I'm just going to work on the bottom parts and try and do that so that I can do a little sewing and I don't really have to think too hard, and I don't want to take a chance on cutting. I've got only a limited space here, and so I just worry about me like hitting my fingers, my little fingers, and I don't have any like fake nails on today that'll fix it. So, all right, let's make sure I've definitely got the right thread. I've got plenty of bobbin. All right, we're gonna sew. We're gonna do some things. I'm gonna sew this in order. So I'm gonna start with the doors and the transoms, and then I'll put them all back, and I'm gonna chain sew those, and then I will go ahead and trim them all, trim the threads that keep them together and put them back in the little pile so that I can add the size of the houses. That's what we'll do today, because that seems like something I can handle. Because some days that's what we have, right? So, also, if you've joined and you have no idea what we've been talking about, it's all good. Just drop us a comment and let us know what you're sewing on. Also, since I forget to say this, I so appreciate if you like and subscribe, if you're liking the channel and liking the lives and have fun sewing along with us. I would love it if you joined our little community. All right, I just came to the first part where I've actually sewn the house together after only 3 little door transom things. So I think we'll just work on the door, adding the sides of the houses to these 3, and then I am going to go through the pile and move those out. So that's the plan. I don't want to mess things up. I don't want to mess up my order. I just realized my iron is not on. So maybe I won't iron these. Maybe I'll just finger. I don't have my favorite little rolly thing over here. Huh. I moved all of my things that were on my sewing table to a little cart, and it's all the way across the room for some reason. So I'm just gonna finger press. That's what I'm gonna do. Oh my gosh, Janelle, you're so right. Mindless sewing is the best to clear the head. Yes, 100%. And I feel like this year I've just like had such a rough few months that doing mindless sewing is absolutely what I need right now. Okay, all right, so I'm gonna add these little pretty lemons, this pretty fabric. Who knew blue lemons would be pretty, but somebody did. Don't remember whose fabric that is. Maybe Amy Gibson. We have these pretty daisy prints. So pretty. Love it. These houses are going to be adorable. And I think I jinxed myself the last time because I'm pretty sure I had said, "Oh, I'll work on this in the, in the middle of the week." And then it just, everything went wrong. Everything went wrong. Oh my gosh, you guys, I forgot. I got a box right before the live. So maybe when I'm done with this mindless sewing part, I'll open the box. So Shannon Fabrics reached out to me on Instagram and asked if I would be interested in trying some of their new quilting cuddle. And so I've not seen this in person. I said I absolutely would love to try some of their quilting cuddle because I think cuddle is beautiful, and I'm curious what it would be like. She sent me a link to like some of their new collections, and I clicked some their Christmas one. And so I didn't even look at the whole thing. I think what happened was I think they reached out to me on like the day that we got the news that she was going into hospice. And it was such a pleasant surprise and a nice distraction that I was like, sure, let's do it. So interestingly enough, it arrived just before the live so that I could bring the box upstairs and see what was in it. So maybe we'll do that. We can ogle fabric because that's always a good pastime, don't you think? Whew. I feel like I could go back to sleep and sleep for another 10 hours. Funny when you get some actual sleep that your body is just like, keep going. I don't feel like I could wake up easily today. All right, we're doing the other side of the house now. Sorry that I don't have my usual little bubble showing you what I'm doing. After this, I'll show you the houses that I've done. And I'm not sure what I'm making for dinner tonight. I would love to know what you guys are making for dinner tonight. I've got my father-in-law and brother-in-law, in town. Well, my brother-in-law lives in San Francisco usually. Usually, he lives in San Francisco. He's here for the foreseeable future. Luckily he works from home, so he can work anywhere, and so he will be, which is great. Let's see. Kim says, we left our home a week ago in the RV and are currently in Ohio. We'll be traveling the country for 6 months. I won't be able to sew today, but I am working on unpacking my sewing project. That is so much fun. Kim, where are you headed? Where are you going? from Ohio. That's fantastic. And have you done this before? Have you traveled around for this long of a period of time? I feel like I've gotten to see so much of the United States, and I'm really grateful that I've had that opportunity, because it just gives you a different perspective on different areas. I don't know, and the people all over the country, because everywhere is different. So I feel very lucky that I've had that opportunity, and I think you were very lucky for having 6 months to do that. And Mary says, yes, I love to ogle fabric. Yes, me too. Danelle says, my hubby and oldest son do the cooking most of the time, so unsure what they're doing. That's fabulous. I usually do the cooking, and I am just not sure what I've got in the house that I can make for 5 people. And I was actually feeling bad because I didn't think, while she was in the hospital, she was having trouble eating, and I should have made her favorite dish, which was corn pudding. I have this, just a Jiffy corn pudding recipe, and it was her absolute favorite, and it's nice and soft, and I should have thought to make it, but I wasn't thinking of it. So what can you do? All right, so I've got this one stitched. I just love the colors we picked. And then let's get this one pressed. I have this recipe that I've done for, which is usually like my emergency recipe, that I usually always have the ingredients in the house for when I am having a flare. And it's swamp potatoes. Has anybody had that? It's just potatoes. It's like smoked kielbasa and green beans, and you can cook it in the crock pot with, like, it's got like some butter, and it's got onion soup mix, and we add ranch as well, and then I usually add a little bit of like Creole seasoning, and it's very comforting and delicious. And so I'm contemplating if I should make that, but I've never made it for my father-in-law and Paul, and I'm not sure if they would like it. So, all right, let's see. Kim says, we're heading to Arkansas to see our daughter. The rest will be where the wind takes us. It's time for healing and peace. Oh my gosh, that sounds fantastic. I've only been to Arkansas once. I grew up in New Jersey, and I lived in Boston, so I pretty much from New Jersey north saw all of it. And then my brother was stationed in Mobile, Alabama, and so there was a time where we drove down to pick him up. So drove from New Jersey down south, went over to Arkansas and Alabama, and Louisiana a little bit. I think we sort of crossed over the border to Louisiana, and so seen that whole section. Then we lived in LA, and we moved to Chicago, and so we drove to Chicago with the kids, and we made a stop. We stopped at Grand Canyon and like Four Corners and all of that area. Drove through Utah, drove through a little bit through Arizona, and all the way up to Chicago. And so we did that, and then we lived in Colorado, and we would drive back and forth to Chicago from Colorado. And so we've seen all of like Nebraska and Iowa and all of that. And so I feel like I've gotten to see so much. I've seen a little bit of the Pacific Northwest. I've got, I think, like 5 or 6 states that I haven't seen. And I'm just not sure I'm going to make it in time, because like there are a lot that like I should have done when we were in Colorado. I should have gone to like Wyoming and done like North Dakota and South Dakota and all that, but we didn't have a chance with COVID and all of that. So, all right, so that's the next one that the house is done. I just love the daisies with the orange and the green. So cute. And then we've got the blue lemons. All right, so I'm going to take those off. All right, and this is where I was stopped because that was the one that was full. Now I can go back to stitching up the rest of these. I don't think there are any more. Nope. So I can finish up this little pile, and that's what I'll be working on. Whew. I'm being a perfectionist. I don't know why I'm falling into that. And it's funny because I feel like I'm okay if these houses are a little bit wonky. Ooh, dear. The next one, now I've got to stop again. The next one was one where we didn't finish picking. All right, I'm just going to double check because that's what we did. Okay, that makes sense. Like, we picked weird fabrics for this one with the door. We picked, but it kind of goes with the rest of the fabric. So I'm going with it because that's what we chose from what I had. All right, and so then we're going to have to pick again. So I'll just stitch these up and then I'll move them to the side and we'll choose some fabrics. See what we're in the mood for today. I might have to just go with what you guys pick because I'm not sure my brain can pick appropriately. Thus, I threw on like a black t-shirt dress today because I was just, it was too much today. I generally wear black, and then, except for, I realized this morning, except for quilting t-shirts. Which I just thought was so funny. I was like, you know, I always wear black except for when I'm wearing quilting t-shirts. Alright, I'm going to move these to the side and then see what we want to pick. I'm glad I pinned them together because I remember we couldn't decide, and so I pinned them so we would remember which ones. Alright, we're going to leave that like that. Kind of like, oh, I've got to remember to take off the, how many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. Oops, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5. Okay. Putting those over there. I think I know what I want to go with, but all right. So this is option 1. And then we also liked this lighter purple. But honestly, I think the darker purple. But I'm going to go with what you all think. All right, and that's option 2. Which do you prefer? Option 2 or option 1? Let's see, Jill says, I don't think there's anything better than avocado toast. I love avocado toast. And Mary says, most of my clothes are black, gray, or blue. Yeah, makes it easy, doesn't it? Janelle says, ooh, and Kim says the darker. All right, that's one vote for 1. 1 vote for 1. I like the darker as well, I think, so that's 2 votes for the darker. Anybody like the number 2 choice with the lighter purple? And Danelle says, most of my pants are blue, black, or gray, but most of my shirts are bright and colorful. Love that. All right. Mary says darker purple. Danelle says dark purple. That's what, where are we? 5 votes for dark purple? Is that where we are? I think we're going to go with dark purple. I'm not sure if there's anybody else out there that would have a vote, but if you do, all right. put my little piles back the way they were. Put my roofs back. We're going with dark purple. Okay, cool. You ever get to the point where you're looking at the batik and you're like, which side is the right side? Okay, I think that's the right side. I mean, I know both sides will work. So, but sometimes, you know, sometimes there's just a little bit of a, we're too close to what we do. That's the problem. Whew, that is, oh, why do I have I had my speed all the way up. That's too fast for today. Too fast. I must have been like feeling very adventuresome if I had my speed all the way up. Don't think I was working on any free motion quilting, so. All right, easy peasy. Let me look at the clock. We're at 11:41. All right. We might go an hour today just because I'm tired. We'll see how I'm feeling. We'll see how I feel after I open the box of fabrics. We'll ogle fabric and it'll be great. And we'll feel so much better after ogling the fabric. You know, it's funny when you realize that like you're quilting when it's like just a little bit off, just a needle worth off, and you're, oh, I gotta fix that. Because once you know that you like, that causes problems later, you can't undo it. I need to work on something that's completely whimsical and doesn't need to be perfect. Alright, so I feel like that might be my lesson this week. Is that sewing through grief means that you just need something that doesn't have to be absolutely perfect. Which is good because this doorway is a little bit short. I'm going, did I iron it wrong? I agree, Mary. Getting new fabric is definitely fun. It's also fun, like lots and lots of fun, when a company decides to just send you stuff. It's nice. There was a period of time years ago that I remember requesting fabric from Shannon, and but I haven't done that in a very long time, except for designers that I worked with that wanted it. And I've never done like applique with it, which I think is also super fun. Like when people make quilts for kids and they applique like animals with using the nice minky. So that's nice. Does anyone use like cuddle or minky for, well, I shouldn't say or, because cuddle is just a type of minky. But have you ever used it for your backing? And if so, did you add a batting as well, or did you just use the minky for the back? Just out of curiosity. I've got a baby quilt that's got some minky for the back that I want to do, and I want to, I think I'm going to try the quilting in the hoop with it, and so I want to, I'm thinking about whether or not I want to add a batting, and if I do I want to add something that's like super thin, or maybe like a Hobbs, like maybe the Hobbs fusible, I'm not sure. Oh, speaking of batting, holy cow. So you guys know that I work with lyndas.com, and that's like my day job, and they had a sale over the weekend, and batting was 45% off. 45% off, like almost half price. And when I found out that they were doing the sale, I was like in the middle of hospice, and so I couldn't make it. I wanted to make like a quick video to tell you all about the sale, but the sale is still going on. So if you need batting, there's actually a link below. You might be able to use my code and stack and get a little extra off. So you just use code So Supportive, and I always have the link below, and you can use that code to get 10% off on any purchase. And usually they let you stack. That might be too much of a sale to stack. And they also are having a huge sale on Glide thread this weekend, and apparently next weekend the price increases. So if you need thread, just wanted to throw that out there for all of you. Kim says, I have a lot of clients who've used Minky, and I do add batting, usually 80-20. Oh, that's great. And Mary says, I've not used Cuddle or Minky. Oh, have you felt it though? I actually was thinking, I don't know, I need to look and see if Shannon still has double gauze. But I was thinking about making a shirt with some double gauze, because I've got one shirt that I purchased that's made of sort of like a gauzy fabric, and I love it. It's like my favorite. And I thought it would be nice to recreate it using some like nice fabric. So, yeah. And I think I've got, I don't know, I've got the kit. I do not have the kit handy. I'm not sure where I put it. My room is a mess. It's a disaster in here, people. It's just so bad. So I need to get in here and clean this weekend. We've had so much stuff. Like, I just feel like my house is a wreck. We've just been going to the hospital, coming home. Luckily, we've been somewhat keeping up with like the dishes in the kitchen and the dining room table, so that we have a place to like eat. But the rest of the house just looks like a disaster. And the worst part was yesterday, my in-laws minister came to the door, and he literally, like, I was the only one home. I had pajama shorts on. I was a mess. The house was a mess. The porch was a mess. Like, everything, like, I just was so embarrassed. And he was looking like, where am I? Luckily, I could just tell him that everyone was over at my father-in-law's house. So he didn't need to come in, but oh boy, that was a little bit embarrassing. So, but you know, I guess also quite understandable with what we've been through this past week. So I think this weekend we're just going to have to work a little bit on taking care of our mental health and cleaning up the house a little bit and doing that kind of stuff. But I'd love to get in here and do a little cleaning as well. And that way maybe I could actually like show the rest of the studio, because that would be fun. All right, got the rest of my little house is built. And once that one's so cute. And it's funny because I've got all the roofs stacked, and I'm going, I hope we picked plaid. Like, I hope we picked a plaid roof for this one. So cute. Let me look. I'm going to look. Because that one's all the way at the end. Haha. We did pick a plaid for that one. Love it. Gotta make sure it sticks. There we go. So cute. Oops. So we've got some purple lemons this time. Oh, Mary says, what company has the sale? Lindas.com. The link is in the description. And you can use the code So Supportive. But 45% off. That includes rolls. That includes packages of batting, and they sell some batting by the yard. So, all right, this is little house number 2. Isn't that one adorable? I'm so glad we picked the dark purple. Ah, cuteness. I should just honestly put these with the roofs so you can all see. Sorry if I'm talking quietly. I just realized I was mumbling. I'm a mumbler. You can ask Lori Baker. She used to have the cubicle next to me at the office. I'm a little bit of a mumbler. All right. Cuteness! Absolutely adorable. So funny. That's right, a bunch of these I purposely cut the charm squares for the roofs and didn't cut out a door because I thought they were so cute. I wanted to have multiples. So that's the last one. It's not the last one. I can actually show you all of them as I put them all back anyway. All right, I just honestly had second thoughts on this one on the roof because I was like, what if I did a plaid roof instead and swapped out that? There was one, I don't remember which one it was. Let's see. It's pretty busy with plaid roof. Oh yeah, it was this one. And I was like, you know, I could do that polka dot instead. And then do this one with the plaid. I think I like that better. Ah! Everything fell. Alright, gotta hold it. I kinda like that better. What do you think? I think it gives it more pizzazz than polka dots with polka dots. Oh, you're very welcome, May. At least I think it's May. May Nolan. I love the village pattern. Thanks for sharing your expertise. Oh, I am very happy to sew this pattern along because this is finishing up one of my UFOs. And it's also one of my patterns that I it's been like my comfort pattern. Does that make sense? Like it's been the one that I go to and I pull out whenever I just need to do some like fun, something fun and creative and not stress. And so that's what it's been for all these years. And so it's been really fun to sew every Thursday and, you know, be on a schedule. And Janelle says, do it. And Mary says, either one works. I swapped it. I definitely swapped it. All right, so here's the next one. Hold it like that so it doesn't fall. And these were all fabrics. If you're new here, we 2 weeks ago we picked out, so the last live that's in the stream, we picked out the fabrics together and it was loads of fun, and I auditioned things and we all decided as a group and that was so much fun. It was just great. So there you go. That's the next one. I love these little daisies. So cute. All right, so some of these roofs have sky background attached and some do not, because I have not done those yet. Okay, and that's the last one. All right, it is 11:56, so what I'm gonna do is we're gonna switch gears. I'm gonna turn off my iron so I don't burn my tabletop. My ironing surface over here, my father-in-law bought me for my birthday last year when we moved into this house. And so I put it together, and I had gotten the Aliso iron, and I had the mini one as well. But I'm finding for some reason the fabric, which is just like a gingham, it's not an expensive fabric that they use to cover the top of this. It is just scorched. It is completely discolored, and I have a feeling that whatever they use to treat the fabric is just not great. So I'm already thinking about recovering this little table. So I just have to decide what I would want to look at all the time. so there you go. All right, I am going to grab this box. Pull it over here. All right, let's see. I'm looking to see if I've got a paper scissor handy. I do not. Let's see. Must have something. Hold, please. I'm going to walk over here and you can look at Tim Gunn. Perfect. Found one. I always have paper scissors in here, but sometimes they get stolen by people who want to wrap Christmas presents or birthday presents or things like that, because the wrapping paper is in here, which is dangerous. I had them in the guest room, but we've had guests, and I always want to keep the little tabletop in there clear for people who need to put a luggage up on the dresser that's in there. So I moved it. All right, don't know if I'm opening this up the right way. Oh, interesting. All right, I'm going to move the packing list out of the way. It's just a bunch of red Mickey. It is 3 yards of extra wide Minky in cardinal. So I'm guessing the rest of the Christmas stuff is coming. So it's just the regular Minky, but oh, and it's 3 yards, people. That's a lot of fabric. Wow. I am very excited. I'm going to leave it in its plastic, which might be a bad idea, because my kittens, I have 2 kittens who like to chew on plastic like this. All right, well, there you go. That wasn't as exciting as I thought it was going to be, because I was expecting to have like multiple Christmas prints to show you. Oh well, what can you do? All right, so I think we will call it quits for the day, so I can go rest. Thank you all so much for your kind words, and thanks for sewing along with me. Oh wait, let me see. Hello, Karen. I didn't even see that you joined. Hello, Karen. Let's see. She says, hi, Tracy and gang. Looking forward to a rainy day where I can sew and catch up on your replay videos. Working in the yard this week, nice and cool and dry in southern Ontario this week. Oh, it finally, like, it's been raining. It rained all weekend, and so luckily it rained all weekend, honestly, because I had just put together my first raised bed ever, and so it's not completely full of plants, but it was about halfway full of plants. I've got all of my tomatoes, my peppers, some cucumbers, some zucchini, I I put in some pumpkin seeds that I'm going to let trail over the side. I'm not sure that the pumpkin seeds will survive because we have a groundhog that lives behind our house, and there's kind of an area right behind us that's city property, and it lives in there. And so I figured it'll be groundhog food, but that's fine. And but somebody's been digging, other than somebody digging in there in the areas where there aren't plants, and for some reason the place where I put basil seeds, not sure what that's about, that's where they have been digging. But I was so grateful that it rained the entire time, because I didn't have to worry about what was happening, and I didn't have to worry about waking up and having to go out and take care of it when we were having so many emergencies where we had to get up and leave right away. So I was grateful for the rain, and we needed it anyway because it had been so dry. And so that was very good. So take advantage of being outside when you can. And if you don't garden, then excellent. Every day can be a sewing day for you. So again, thank you all for joining me and helping me pick out all of these adorable fabrics for the next round of houses. I am going to pull out my layer cake that is part of the ombre. It's not ombre, but I chose an ombre collection of charm packs of blue for the background. And if you're curious about what that's going to look like, I posted on the community page on my YouTube channel, and I posted a picture of what that might look like, because my plan is to sort of diagonally go from light to dark, like morning to night with my village, and that's my plan. And so I will go pull that out next, so that hopefully this week I can actually cut those into the squares that I need, and that will be wonderful, and we'll be ready for next week. So so we usually go about an hour, and I've been trying to go a little bit over because I think it's just more fun that way. I particularly like having someone I can watch for at least an hour while I'm sewing, and so I don't know if you do that too, but I know a lot of people watch the replays, so thank you to everyone who watches on the replays and leaves a comment. And you can always, if you have to stop watching, you can always go back and you can leave a comment and I'll reply. But be sure to let me know clearly what you're talking about. There's been a few times where I've been like, what? This was from a few months ago. What are you referring to? And I always feel sort of awkward because I'm not quite sure. But because you know me, super chatty, gonna just chat and sew. All right, everyone. So. Love you bunches. Sending out all of the love to everyone, and hope that you can get a little bit of sewing done today. And I will see you next week. I'm hoping to get back on schedule with posting, in addition to the live, another video. I've got a tutorial coming up. I think, well, on my Patreon, all of my members got to find out what was happening with me last week, and so I promised that I would actually finish the video that has been sitting on my desktop, which shows a whole bunch of quilts that were that were part of the collection for what is it called? My brain. Oh my gosh, my brain just completely glitched. The hand-dyed cottons. I can't remember. Anyway, there was a whole challenge on doing Once Upon a Time was the theme, and I've got an entire stream of all of those quilts, and they were gorgeous. And so I just need to do an open and a close for that. So hopefully I can post that next week, and then the next week there should be a tutorial, and we'll be doing back to normal. So everyone have a wonderful week, and I will see you next Thursday, and I'll talk to you soon.